Hey folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Just wanted to remind you, if you are not already a subscriber to our show and to this page, please go ahead and hit that subscriber button just below my screen right here. It's so important to us. A while back, we already hit our 4,000 plus watch hours to be monetized, but we're still short on subscribers. We got to get to 1,000. So hit that button below on the right side, right there. See it? Hit it. Folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Just want to remind you that the next time you need a hat, jersey, or memorabilia of your favorite team, you can get up to 65% off everything on Fanatics just by using our link, hofmedia.us/fanatics. Just click the button at the bottom of the screen and shop as normal. You'll get up to 65% off everything in the store, and we'll get a small commission for everything you buy. It's a win-win.
Let's go!
And oh, looky there, here he is. I'm glad we've got one in here. So welcome back to the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and we're going to try this one more time because I had a bad cable or something, I guess, because the mic kept going out. So it is silly season, obviously, and it's even affecting my computer and my equipment here. So we'll get this going again here as soon as I hope everybody comes back in. If not, it'll be available here. I'm going to go ahead and start going through this stuff anyway. Folks, 6-6 is not fun for anybody. It's not fun for any fans of the Oklahoma Sooners football program. Not fun for players, coaches, and especially when some of you fans, even OU insiders, are kicking and screaming like a bunch of freaking 2-year-olds. Okay, 6-6 isn't fun. We get it. All right. And then you got more things happening since Saturday, since Monday. Theo Wease, receiver, he's going to be transferring. He's in the portal now as a graduate with 2 years remaining on his eligibility. So, look, file that one under the not so surprise category for me. I pretty much expected that. And he was in the portal a year ago. He did come back. I guess there's an opportunity that he could come back again. But that being said, there's a lot of folks that are out there today. As a matter of fact, you have Alabama wide receiver from the 2021 class, Christian O'Leary, speed burner guy, is also in the portal as well. So there's going to be guys out there, not to mention your incoming recruiting class. You've got, this is literally, it's silly season for a lot of reasons. Final stretch of the 2023 recruiting class. This week is championship week. You've got the Big 12 championship, TCU taking on Kansas State. Also have the SEC title game, Georgia, LSU, USC, and Lincoln Riley under the first year coach. Lincoln Riley looking to take what looks to be a Heisman winning quarterback, win the Pac-12 championship in his first season with the Trojans. And I know everybody can go ahead and boo. Go Utes. I'm with you. James, there you are, my man. Good deal. No, hey, you're right on time, James, because I just started. I've been having issues with my equipment, as whatever, as normal. But what I'm getting at, so here's the deal. with everything that's going on, you've got a bunch of coaching changes. Hugh Freeze just gets the job at Auburn. Uh, you know, I mean, everything that's happened over the last week, you've got the end of the recruiting season coming on now. The transfer portal is officially going to be open. Uh, well, it more or less is open now that if your season's already over, but they can start signing as soon as the 5th. You've got a lot of guys out there in the portal. Some of the guys that, already Jacob Lacey coming in for the Sooners, they will be bringing him in from Notre Dame. That's big defensive line help. And there's a lot of rumblings out there about the possibility of a new uh, wide receivers coach that will have uh, also some recruiting responsibility, or he's big in recruiting already. There's a couple of different guys that they've been talking about. We're going to find out who it is. I'm not going to go through that a whole lot because the information that I have, I feel like it's pretty good, but I hate being wrong about these things, and you never know whether you're right or not until the ink hits the paper. I think most everybody who's probably in here watching my channel, which is only James right now, I believe, these guys will you understand, and you probably know some of the names that are out there already, James. JP and Trevor tonight. Yep, I was watching that a little bit earlier too. So listen, here's the deal. The bottom line is, I know this kind of this post-mortem type of deal that we're going to go ahead and do for Oklahoma on the season. And here's what we're not going to do, okay? On a quick side note, another real quick just to say, Hudson Card from Texas, as expected, also is entering the transfer portal after losing the starting position to Quinn Ewers in the preseason, playing pretty well after he relieved Quinn. And then obviously with the arrival of Arch Manning, more than likely coming to Austin as well, he is definitely expendable. I would expect, I'm picturing kind of a place like maybe Houston, UT San Antonio, Baylor, Oklahoma State could both use quarterbacks. I know that Baylor has Blake Shapen. I think they get upgrade with Hudson Card. He's definitely infinitely more reliable than Spencer Sanders or Shapen. So that's just my thoughts on that. Now, as I said, let's go ahead and get into our main topic, and it's season 1 under Venables and the Sooners. Post-mortem, if you will, for the first-time head coach of the program in his first season at the helm of the Sooners. A campaign that, lest we forget, was no fun for anyone who roots for the Crimson and Cream, nor the players trying to uphold the standard set at OU. And it certainly wasn't fun for Venables himself, who's taken what I kind of feel like is an inordinate amount of criticism for a first-year guy who did not take over an 11-2 team. I know everybody loves to say it was an 11-2 program last year when you got it. No, it wasn't. 44%. Okay, so here's what we're not going to do. All right, and this is kind of going to be a new rule here. After tonight, we don't really need to go through and talk about what happened in this season because it really doesn't matter. To me, the fire Venables nonsense is just that. It's nonsense. It was a subpar season. It's the first one they've had really certainly hope we can figure out a way to have Samples in Washington on staff. Okay. So you're hearing some of the same things as well. Chad, welcome to the show. Appreciate that. But again, I don't want to hear any more of this fire Venables nonsense because what he's talking about right there, what just came up on the screen, yeah, that'll never make it up, bud. Never make it up there, D. You might as well just run on because you're not going to like what you hear here. What you're seeing on the screen right now, folks, that is one of the rumored coaches that would be coming into this situation. As Chad said, Rashad Samples, he is currently the Los Angeles Rams running back coach. There's also been a lot of talk about Malcolm Kelly, the TCU receiver coach at the moment, former Sooner, obviously. could be as well. Again, I'm not going to get a whole bunch into that, but here, let me just say this. Either one of those guys is going to be coming in here to help build a recruiting juggernaut. And when you have folks, and look at the level that they've already started recruiting on, if you're Venables and his staff, he's got defensive players, probably the best Oklahoma defensive recruiting class ever in the history of the 247 era, for sure. It's never been ranked higher. You also have a 5-star quarterback in Jackson Arnold, who's coming in. There looks like if you do get Malcolm Kelly / Samples, you could still flip. I'm feeling like the flip is going to happen on Hicks. If Hicks comes, the linebacker comes as well. And then with Jackson Arnold, Peyton Bowe, and his teammate, another 5-star, one of the best in the country, is looking like oh, D, don't get upset. Is looking like he's a possible flip as well. So it could go from 7 in the country, which is, again, as good as it's ever been. Yeah, folks, what do you go? Yeah, he's still the running back coach. If Samples is the running back coach right now at the Rams, but he would be coming in as from what I can hear, from what I've heard, and I haven't, just so we know this, I haven't confirmed any of this. They're not talking about this on the record. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is all correct. But if it is Samples, he would be coming in as a receiver coach, the same as Malcolm Kelly would if it was him. Obviously Malcolm Kelly has a job too. He's at TCU. So, I don't know for sure what's going to happen. I've heard the same as what you guys have heard. And, it's just one of those deals. It's recruiting stuff. You're going to see, it's all of it's going to be for recruiting purposes, folks. All of it. So, but here's the thing. We're talking about both of these guys are well-known, well-established recruiters and coaches at position levels. Running back coach, receiver coach, those guys are kind of interchangeable. They're all on the offensive staff at some point. Every offensive coordinator, head coach, whatever, if you're an offensive side type of guy, you're going to end up with all those jobs. So that's not really an issue where it's going to be, if it was Samples, yeah, he's the running back coach for McVay. But come on, you're still in on all the meetings and doing all, and these guys know what they're doing. And DeMarco is doing a great job. He's recruiting well. So it has nothing to do with DeMarco Murray. Don't worry about that. I know that. I don't know what's going to happen as far as LaDainian Washington is concerned. I feel like he came in as an analyst anyway. He could stay on as an analyst. Somebody else that I was, in any event, yeah. Look, yeah. And again, this is what I'm kind of talking about here. I get it. Though, but here's the thing. With the way that things are, first of all, with Evans, when we talked about this a little bit on Saturday, and I had a video about it on Saturday. With Evans, the thing is he flipped from Arkansas to Oklahoma, and now he's flipped from Oklahoma to Georgia. But what I would tell you is that you need to understand that kid was his mom wanted him to go on that trip because, quote unquote, that's her favorite school. Well, even if that is correct, if that's true, does it surprise anybody that he left? Because it shouldn't. You guys are, my audience is smart. I know you guys. You guys are smart guys. Let's just be real about it. That guy wasn't staying. And as I've also said, and if you're a member of our audience, you've seen the guys that are available out there in the recruiting, as far as Darian Holmes. You have obviously Tease is not guaranteed to be going to Arkansas. There is still some interest there. I know they're making a big push for him. He's way better than Evans, just on the face of it. But to me, when you look at Darian Holmes, he doubled him up in everything stat-wise the entire way, James. The entire way. They play in the same area. They both play 6A football, and he had 18 Darian Holmes, 18 touchdowns, 1,275 yards, 81 catches. Okay. What are you losing there? Because you only had 547 with Evans. Okay. And I'm not even bad mouthing Evans. He's a take the top off of a defense type of player. But here's the other thing. When you've got a guy like Christian Leary, I mean, go out there and go after him as well. I mean, there's a lot of options, and he's not going to be the only one hitting the portal. Do you realize that the last 2 years in a row, Alabama has recruited well more receivers than they can put on the field? That's why Leary's left, and he's the first one. Theo Wease, we know he's gone. And, I wish him well. I really do. I think that, and I would have liked to have seen him play a little more, but I think he kind of got in Jeff Lebby's doghouse. I don't know. In the end, what we're not going to do, and this is the whole thing that this is about, this entire video is more going to be about this than anything. It's kind of the post-mortem of the season. And what I'm because this is the last I really want to talk too much about what happened in 2022's regular season. The reason for it is, listen, we can sit here and we can bash on offense all you want to. Two guys falling through, that's nothing right now. And this is everybody's still kind of looking at this as if it's the way things have always been in recruiting, and the transfer portal has changed everything, particularly with the way that Lincoln used it last year after he left Oklahoma. You realize he actually brought up to 50 guys into the USC program. And yeah, and D, you know what? You're right about that. But that's where Oklahoma has done so well, is they, in 1 month, they put together a recruiting class that they were ranked in the top 10 right after getting there. Not to mention, you bring in Dylan Gabriel. And I know a lot of people want, and that's another thing. All right, so rule one, it's got two parts. First off, we are done bashing Dylan Gabriel. We are not going to use him for target practice on what the hell was wrong with this season. I'm not going to do it. All right. If you do it, I'm going to call you out as a casual, because here's the deal. The offense finished in the top 20 in the country. They were number 2 in the conference. Top 20 and number 2 in the conference. Okay. He was number 2 behind only Max Duggan in the overall statistical total offense for a quarterback, QBR, in the conference as well. He was better than Ewers. He was better than Sanders. He was better than, of course, Adrian Martinez. Anybody else. None of these guys had anything on them. All right. Look, and when you're in they were number 17 is the actual number for total offense. On defense, number 120. Out of 131 FBS teams, Oklahoma was 120. With a top 20, almost top 15 offense in the country, and we're just talking about him playing in 10 and a half, and not even really 10 and a half games, but 10 and a half games is what you get credit for. He averaged 36 points a game. He put up 6 touchdowns in the last game, and they still lost. They had almost 700 yards against Tech. When you score 48, you should win. When you score 36, you should win. That's the average. And I'm going to tell you, I feel like I'm with you on that, James. And I'm going to say this too. Look, we understand that he's not Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams just went and won himself a Heisman Trophy. If you want to be pissed off, aim that at Lincoln. Okay? Aim it at Lincoln. Because this is, and the deal is look, he's the best player in the country. And Dylan is not him. But I don't really know what else you could have expected out of anyone. I don't care who you brought in. Did you really expect that it was going to be a whole lot different? I mean, for that matter, USC is only a few spots ahead of Oklahoma in offense. Total offense. They average like, I think 12 more, like plus 12 yards or something. I'll pull it up in a minute, but it doesn't. In the end, they did their job. When you average 36 points, they did their job. Okay. So that's part one of rule one. Okay. We're not going to do that no more. All right. I don't want to hear it, because even if that defense, let's say instead of number 120, they're in the top 70 in the country, they win 8 to 10 games. They already won 6. If they're in the top 70, they win 8 to 10. They're in the top 50, at least 10 wins. Think about it. All the losses, aside from the game that he didn't play against Texas and the game that he got knocked out of, TCU, 1-score losses. 1-score losses, little things. What do I think about Brian Odom coming back to coach? Oh, we'll get to that in a second. All right. So that's what we're not going to do. And the other thing we're not going to do is we're not going to use Jeff Levy for target practice either. We're just not going to do it anymore. Okay. I don't want to hear it. I don't care about what happened with Theo Wease. I think, is it a loss? Sure it is. Is it definitely his fault? No. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors in there any more than I do. I'm not saying that he's a bad kid. I think he's been a good kid. He had a good game. He had a good game against Tech. He showed what he could do. I think that if he sticks around another year, he gets even better. But here's the deal. If he thought it was time for him to go, so be it. That's what you got. You got to let these kids do what they want to do. And that's the other deal. With the recruiting, with the portal the way that it is, shit, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. There's talks of Xavier Worthy leaving Texas, right? You just had, like we said, Christian Leary's leaving Alabama. They had 6 receivers that came in that 21 class with him, and he was just expendable. We're talking about that guy is easy fast as Anthony Evans. And he's already been being coached by the Oklahoma coaching staff. Pretty sure he's probably ready to go. Polished player. You make a push for a guy like that. Doesn't necessarily have to be him. You have guys that are coming from high school that could make an immediate impact. With Darian Holmes, as I was saying, he's 6'3", 195. Catches everything. Had a 20-catch game earlier this season. You've got guys like, come on. Let's see. Sorry, folks. Let's run through this real quick. Obviously, you have Tease is the target right now as well. Micah Tease from Tulsa, Booker T. Washington. I mean, this guy, he averaged 27.4 yards per reception. He only had 30 catches for the season. Had, 12 of them were touchdowns, and he averaged 27.4. That guy can go. Flat out, that guy can go. Then you have, also another Oklahoma kid. And I don't understand why he's not on everybody's radar either. This is unbelievable. But you're talking about Brandon Harper out of Noble. I mean, he's a small guy. But the dude is one of the leaders is the leader or third in the nation, I guess, in touchdowns or catches. He had 100 catches, 1,700 yards. He leads the whole country in yardage. I mean, I don't care who you are. And he's playing 5A competition in Oklahoma. The guy's look, if you have 18, 19, 20 touchdowns like he has, I don't care where you are, man. That's unbelievable, right? And then you got Darian Holmes, who, yes, he only had one season where you got to know who he is. Otherwise, everybody would know him, right? He's flying under the radar, but I promise you, every team in the Big 12 right now is on him. And you know why? Because he had 81 catches, 1,275 yards, 18 touchdowns. He had a 20-reception game against one of the best teams in San Antonio Harlan. These guys are, I mean, they're going to come in and they're going to do what they got to do. And on top of that, there's a ton of guys that are going to be out there in the portal. I mean, this is what kind of worries me. If I was a high school recruit, and I'm helping high school recruits right now and trying to, see, we're big in recruiting on this show. It's tough for them, and talking to a lot of these coaches that are doing some of this recruiting stuff, and the recruiting services, it's making it harder on some of these players because of the fact that the portal is so loose and they can do whatever they want. I mean, year to year, you could literally, with the rules the way they are, you could start at 4 different places in 4 different years. You could, without sitting out. Is it cool? Okay, yeah, let's do that. I wasn't going to put anything from SC up, but I like that. Yes. Good luck to you guys this weekend. Because I will say this. I do hope that SC gets in. I hope that they beat Utah. And you know what? You know why? Actually, I like Kyle Whittingham. I think he's the most underrated coach in the country. So it would be kind of cool if they lost there. But if they get, I would love it that USC guys, all you freaking trolling SC fans, can get a little taste of what you're going to continue getting, the best of what you're going to get, because you'll get, no matter if it's Michigan or it's Georgia, you're going to get skull drug, bruh. It's skull drug. No way they win that game. And as much as, and I still think that Caleb Williams is the best player in the country, without a doubt. I think he was the best player in the country a year ago, before Ohio State lost and got their ass handed to them by Michigan the way they did in their own house on Saturday. I was saying that Caleb was better than CJ Stroud, because he was. The dude just puts on his cape and goes and freaking wins. And that's why Lincoln took him with him, and that's why he had brought him last year into Norman. So it is what it is. Until they change the way that they do things defensively, I don't have to tell you, you Oklahoma fans, what it is. You know exactly what it is. Weston, what do you think about Odom coming back to coach linebackers so BV can call the defense? I think that BV can do whatever the hell he wants. And I believe that maybe he should. I don't understand why he would ever stop doing it. That's what you're good at. In the end, again, I don't want to judge a ton over what happened this year. I want to see next season they improve. That would be what you hope for. You hope that they play okay in the bowl game. You don't know what's going to happen with the bowl. Who's going to be gone? Who's going to be here? Doesn't really matter. What you're looking for is to have those 15 practices that they get. You know? Like what has that got to do with you getting skull drug against Georgia? Get out of here. I called the Michigan win too. I knew that was happening. There, and OSU's defense may get better, but they didn't. The thing was that they never got tested. Yep, I agree with that. That was already gonna. So you think you're coming in here breaking news or something, Popeye? Come on, we already knew this. We've been talking about this for 2 weeks. You're new to the show. Because your boy's tampering all the time too. Just so you know. But that's fine. Let him go. There's only so many freaking footballs to go around anyway. He doesn't like it and he's the number 1 at Texas and he's not happy. What do you think's going to happen when he's not number 1 at SC? I can just tell you what, he ain't gonna be happy there either. And especially you got the possibility that Wease could end up there. I don't know that he will, because I don't think that Wease was all that excited about Lincoln when he left either. So I don't really know that that's the case anyway. In the end, really doesn't matter. All you're really looking at is that it's probably going to be what it is. But let's get back to what Weston was talking. I feel like BV should be calling the defense. I don't look, man. If an offensive-minded head coach can call the offensive plays, and so many of them do, then why can't a defensive-minded head coach? I mean, look, who do you think's calling the plays on defense all those years for? Yeah, they can have them. Exactly. Yeah, it's all good with us, right, James? Um, why can't a defensive-minded head coach call plays as well? I don't see any reason why you shouldn't, and I feel like the reason that they wanted him to come and be head coach is because of what's going to happen with the defense. I don't know that I'm not going to be that guy that sits here and does the Ted Roof thing. Look, the truth of it is I don't think that he was in charge of all that either. And the other part of it is I don't even think it's the defenses the way they're getting called. I don't think that that's what it is. I think that it is that more times than not, these guys are out of position. Right? Again, after today, this is the post-mortem, so we can go ahead and talk about it because they were 120th in the nation. I'd much rather talk about the defense than the offense. Okay. There's a lot of things going on in that. Say what you want to blame it on Ted Roof, fine, whatever. I think it's easy to do that because his personality is just pretty dry, you know. When you're used to having Venables, spitting fire and freaking out on the sideline as a defensive guy, him sitting up in the booth just chilling is a little. I get it, and I don't know. I didn't never really know who the guy was coming in, and I know coaches, so is it easy to kind of tag on him and go at him? Sure, yeah, I get it. Folks, if you have not already become a subscriber, please hit the button in there and even some of you Facebook guys, if you're still in, please come to our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, and hit the subscriber button at some point. Hit that like button while you're there. The just having the interaction, guys, really helps all of us as content creators. So I'd really appreciate that. Obviously, going into a little bit, I didn't want to go too much into this either, but the Theo Wease thing, he called it a breakup on Snapchat last night, and I thought it was kind of funny, and the reason that I thought it was funny was somebody was smart enough to take a picture of the Snapchat from another phone, but it was on a private snap too, so it was leaked by somebody close to him. That of course kind of got a little bit of uproar on Twitter. And it was broken by my recruiting guy anyway, but he had gotten it from the source that he knew, who I guess was close to Wease. But in the end, what was funny about the whole thing, okay, I love it. All these guys coming in breaking news. Here we go, Anthony. Logan. Appreciate it, Logan. The funny part about it is you had all these people that, and this is what, again, the reason that I'm wanting to come up with these rules that we're not going to sit here and bash these players or coaches or anybody moving forward now, that, it's time to get behind them, hope that they're doing well as far as their recruiting is concerned, and getting and being right to these recruits, whether they're on their way in or on their way out. Do not trash on these guys. The ones that were, and it was few of them. It wasn't many. But Theo Wease's mom ended up in that thread, and she was coming back at all of them. And I laughed so hard. And that's what they deserved. It's a bunch of knuckleheads in there acting stupid. What good do you possibly think it does if you're that guy? What do you possibly think you're getting out of that to talk shit to a 20-year-old kid or an 18-year-old kid about his decision to not go to Oklahoma or to leave Oklahoma? Really? It befuddles me that people think that that kind of backup is what this program needs. It's not. It's not. Look, you had to know that first off, there was already 44% turnover a year ago. There is such a culture change around there. Okay? It's a different culture than what Lincoln did. And I'm not going to sit here and bash on Lincoln's culture. Okay. I don't like Lincoln anymore. I still think he's the most gifted offensive mind in the game, but screw the guy because of the way he did things. All right. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat that part. But what I'm going to tell you is that there were things that were a lot different under him than they're ever going to be under Brent Venables and this staff. When Schmitty left the program, they got little. That's not a good thing. And I think he saw that. And folks, if you haven't noticed, if you don't know by now that the difference last year and this year was this guy that's about to win the freaking Heisman at USC, is your head just in the sand? Because I got to tell you, 6 one-score games a year ago, escaped against Texas, escaped against West Virginia. That was a 17-15 win. Okay. Escaped against Tulane, 35-40, 40-35. And that was a game that was supposed to be in New Orleans. It's a good thing that they didn't play it there. You know, the only one and there was a 7th game that they easily could have lost. The Kansas game that had, Caleb Williams not pulled that ball back out of the belly of the running back. I think it was Eric Gray, wasn't it? Had he not have pulled that back out, they're because he's getting hit. He pulls it out, gets the first down. They end up winning by 12. That game was all but lost if they don't get that first down. Nobody seems to remember all that. What was the difference? Yeah, it's easy to say. Marvin Mims was big in that game, Popeye, but it was all about Caleb Williams. I mean, he comes back in the Red River game. They're down. They're down huge. 28-7. Second year in a row that you had to jerk Spencer Rattler out of the game. He comes in and engineers the largest comeback in Red River history. That's it could have been 5 or 6 losses a year ago, and it wasn't. And then you still lost so many guys. Only a few to Lincoln, supposedly, pretty much. But you lost Stogner, and freaking Spencer left too. And you lost Jaden Hazelwood, went to Arkansas. He's going to try the NFL draft this year rather than sticking around there as well. In the end, it was over 40 guys. It was 37 guys that weren't on the team gone. You had a bunch of guys that went to the NFL. Between the NFL and guys that transferred out, it is not the same football team. And still, had the defense been a little better, sure, they could have won 10 games again. Even without Caleb Williams. They could have. If the defense is, again, I'm going to say this one more time. If the defense is top 70, they win 8-10. If they're top 50, they win 10 plus. No doubt. When you've got the number 17 total offense in the country, you average 36 points a game. Top 50 would have meant that you were giving up about 30, 28-30 in the top 50. So 36 a game wins you a lot of football games. The games that he was in there, they'd have won them. So that's 10. Even if he gets hurt and all that, which who's to say what happens? Nothing happens necessarily the same. But with what you're looking at, that's why there was that poll out there on grade Dylan Gabriel on this season. Some people are giving him C- and shit because of what dude, the guy had freaking 6 turnovers or 6 interceptions the whole season. Touchdown to interception ratio was almost 5-1. It just doesn't even make sense that you would even talk about these guys. So I'm not going to keep doing it. All right. What are we thinking as far as this big news really, honestly, on the whole deal with, you've got Christian Leary, man. That guy's a burner too. You get him, you go get a guy like that, and those guys are going to be out there. But Mike Atis is a burner. Um, as we just talked about, man, they're everywhere. And then you've got Brandon Harper. That guy, he's got some serious speed and serious. If you watch any of these guys' film, they jump off the page at you. They're there. You could get guys like, I don't know if all these guys are leaving Texas. Okay, let's say Xavier Worthy leaves. Okay, so you go to USC. Who are you taking catches from now? I don't know that that's all that much reality. Could it be? Sure. But again, I don't think that Xavier Worthy he hasn't been happy, and he is the number one guy at Texas. And you can say all you want about Quinn Ewers not being good. He was fine until that game against Oklahoma State. And the real issue there was not getting Bijan the ball more. Sark woke up the last couple of games and gave him the football all the time. And look what happened. They win. And then they had to depend on, by then, though, you had to depend on Kansas beating Kansas State, which doesn't happen very much. But I digress. What are your thoughts, though, on Hugh Freeze to Auburn? That's going to shake things up in recruiting. I could see that going. Who gets the Colorado job? Sleeper linebacker recruits. May actually. There's a couple. There's a couple out there, and the deal is that I think you're going to start seeing some of those guys that are. These are the guys that you're going to see leaving places like Georgia, Alabama, even these big defensive schools because they over recruited, and then the guys. That's how. What was the kid's name that was at Arkansas? That guy is unbelievable, and he couldn't get on the field at Alabama. And he's had one of his best seasons. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot his name. You're going to see guys like that too. The transfer portal is wide open. I would feel like, but here's the deal: if this all goes through with the, if they end up getting, who is that? Oh, Samples. If they say Samples comes in and they're able to flip they're able to flip Hicks. They're going to get his guy too. That kid's going wherever Hicks goes. All right. So again, I'm not positive for sure about who might be if I'm thinking off the top of my head right now, I'm not real sure. But folks, I did want to tell you tomorrow, that's a better question for tomorrow, James. And the reason I'm going to tell you is this. We're going to have a live stream tomorrow night as well. It'll be at 9:30 Eastern time. So that'll be 8:30 in Oklahoma. So check it out. My guy from Oklahoma College Football Recruiting, he is going to be in here with us, and we are going to have one of the commits that they've picked up in the last few weeks, one of the high school commits. Not going to tell you who. We're going to leave that for a surprise. He will be on the show tomorrow night, but my recruiting guy is all over all of this stuff. He's been breaking stuff to you all day. So don't forget that, you're going to have Oklahoma Recruiting. That's it's at C Ball Oklahoma. C, the letter C, BALL Oklahoma. So just make sure that you go and check him out for any of that kind of news that you're looking for. That's our insider for this channel. He's going to be on. He's got one of those guys to come on as well. I will also have a couple under the radar recruits on the show tomorrow night. If you remember, James, I think you were here after the Bedlam game, weren't you? And we had Cade Hewitt on. We are going to have Cade back on the show here tomorrow night as well. He will be on with, I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe he will be joining us with his stud running back. His name is Eric. Let's see. His name is Eric Taylor. And he has he's already getting a lot of looks from like Austin P, Western Carolina, UT Chattanooga. but we're talking, he was committed to Tennessee State. He's already reneged on his commitment. But this guy, go through and watch some of these guys. As I told you with Cade, they are from Oakland High School in Tennessee. They are the two-time back-to-back defending 6'8" champions. They were top 10 in the country a year ago on the final rankings for national championship, that mythical thing, where they rank it. But this, we're talking about a top 10 team. They had a running back that went to, he flipped from Georgia to Oregon. They also had they had a receiver that went to Miami, took a bag. And this is exactly where Woody Washington came from as well, is Oakland. These two guys are the real deal. Cade Hewitt has lost freaking 2 games in his high school career. 2. They're a heavy run team. So, but when he throws, and I've showed the video that a couple of weeks ago, he's the real deal. His little brother Deuce, who's a junior, he's still got another year to go. He's also the real deal. He has played all over the offensive line, left tackle, right tackle. He can play anywhere. He's a monster. And I think that they're gonna probably have to stick him on defense this week. Big game for them this weekend in Chattanooga as they take on. It is crap. Oh, I can't believe I forgot their name. Oh yeah, Beach. Beech, Beach. They're also a heavy run team, so it's going to be one of those knockdown, drag out fights. But Cade can throw it though. So if they need big plays through the air, they're going to get it from him. I feel like he'll be featured a lot. He should be featured a lot. This guy is a winner. He is a leader. I don't know why he hasn't already been picked up. If I'm Josh Heupel, I'm looking at the guy. He can throw it. He can throw it too. He's also big body dude. He stands there, looks down the gun barrel, and still throws strikes, man. So, but yeah, I will definitely, with our recruiting guy being here tomorrow, I definitely will save those questions. I've got a couple that I'm thinking of, and there's actually a couple around that San Antonio area. That's something that actually, because of Darian Holmes, I've gotten to see a lot of these guys in that San Antonio area, and there's a bunch of dudes at every position they just don't have offers yet for some reason. I'm not really sure why. The ones that do certainly deserve it, but it's a crazy deal that you don't have more already, if you ask me. But anyway, I would say that there's going to be a lot of dudes out there, man. And what I would tell you is I wouldn't get too crazy about the recruiting side of it. And this is kind of what I've been telling some of the recruits too, is that right now they're thinking about that transfer portal, because these are guys that are already, some of them, they've been coached up, they're polished, they've already been through a weight program at the college level, Division I level. So they're going to be the first thing on some of these coaches' mind. Obviously, you want to make sure that you get your high school class also. But if you can go out there and you can get a guy like if you're able to go out there and get a Christian Leary that's already been being coached up by one of the best receiving coaches and offensive, the way that they do things in Alabama. Okay. He's a burner guy. He's already been, and again, he was a 2021 guy, so he's already 2 years in. He's polished. I know in that Alabama spring game, they were licking their chops over him, and he just really hasn't gotten a whole lot of looks this year. So, but that's kind of how it is at Bama, and even at places like obviously Georgia too, and LSU. There's guys that are sitting on their benches that they should play. Look, Theo Wease wasn't getting enough playing time for him to stay happy here, and because it's just you've got a lot of guys that are. There's other guys that are in the program already. There's high school kids that are available, or at least somewhat available. With Tease, we don't know what's going to happen with him. I think it's a good. I feel like there's a good chance that they could get him still, right? Now Levy's got to fight his brother-in-law for him, but We'll see how that goes. They don't have to hang out at Christmas this year if they don't want to. Anyway, we'll see what happens with all that. But hey, folks, I appreciate you guys coming in tonight. Again, I just want to say, look, 6-6 sucks, but it can only get better, right? And if you think about, if you really go back and you look at what you should be looking at for this season, the fact of it is you did see signs at times of good from both sides of the football. You saw some things that you want to see better. And I'm not even saying that you completely have to let these coaches, including Coach Venables, off the hook. You don't, because they need the truth of it is we're talking about a new coaching staff, a first-time head coach, and there's going to be a learning curve there. What I do feel like is good, and what they really need, what we know that they have to get better at, that's what they're good at, is defense. They're recruiting defense better than it's ever been recruited here, probably. Ever. They're going to get better. Okay? Give it some time. Be relaxed about it. And let's just look forward to this. This transfer portal stuff, don't everybody freak out, because there's going to be some folks that are going to leave. Right now, you've got 5 total that have left that are leaving via the transfer portal. Wease is the biggest name out of that. You also have Anton. Anton. What was his name? He's going to the NFL draft, the lineman. Okay, that's a loss also, but he's going to the NFL. You know, you're not going to change that, and it's not worth the freak out, knee jerk reaction to lose when we lose them, because you don't know what's coming in on the back end. And if the samples thing is true, you're going to see some things that are going to. I mean, the recruiting wise, it's just going to even get better. And another thing, just about that whole deal with that. I love Malcolm Kelly. He's a Sooner, man. I know you guys all love him too. I like Samples. I think that he's proven himself at a lot of levels. I know Sean McVay loves him. He was definitely coming back to the college ranks. And it's going to be a good get if they get him. The guy is connected. Then they're looking to build a recruiting juggernaut. No, they have not. Yep. Say it again. Not. And in the 247 era, which I don't know. Yeah, I guess that was right around when they were there. But bottom line, you're right. Exactly right there. They've never had a defensive class this high ranked. So it's going to get better. And the thing is, the guys that they get coming in, they're not going to have already learned another system. You know, if they come out of the portal, maybe. But if they're coming out of the portal, my guess is they're going to have come from something similar, or, you know, be the kind of guy that they think is going to do just what they need them to. They know what they're doing. Okay. You've got Todd Bates was recruiter of the year in 2020. He's got 9 All-Americans. He's got 3 first rounders in the same season in 2020. 3 more possibly this season that he coached from Clemson that could go in the first round. One of them got hurt, so he may not, but you got for sure 2 guys that are first round picks. They're going to get this right. Plus, you know, you bring in a guy like Lacey. That's big for the defensive line. He's got experience. He's polished. He's ready to rock and roll. Graduate assistant. That's only going to help. You know, Ashton Sanders, look, man, that guy, if you look at his tape, the difference between junior year, senior year, sophomore, senior year, the dude is different. He should be not a 3-star. He's a better player than that. Then you also have the kid from Tennessee, man. And look, this guy Taylor Wine, look at him. He jumps off the page at you too, right? So we're gonna find out, you know, where. But I know one thing is that was one of the things that they said that they thought he was more underrated than anybody that they had seen. That they thought his film he was the most underrated player they saw. So you got them. Now think about it. If you go back and you add Jackson Arnold's best friend, you know, think about it. David Hicks. You all you got to do is add one of these guys, and you're already top 4 or 5, maybe even as low as 3. Hey, you add Peyton along with it. Peyton Bowen and Hicks, and if Hicks comes, his teammate. I always forget that guy's name for some reason, and he's always right in front of my face. But anyway, he's a stud too. If you get those guys, you know, you're looking top 3. They're not going to catch up to Alabama. Who cares? It'd still be unbelievable. It's yeah, you're right. Sanford. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Travis Hunter. Yeah, and also his son, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the country too. Unbelievable. Yeah. Look, I hope Coach Prime goes ahead and comes on up to the big boys. I don't know that I want him to go to Colorado, but it sounds like it's getting closer. So we'll see what happens on that. But again, I just would encourage everybody to relax. This is there's February 5th is a long time away. You got until then, until you know everything. That's when it gets finalized. There will be some people that sign before that, and you'll know where they're coming and things like that. I feel like Hicks's decision day is going to be somewhere right before around Christmas. I think he goes back to A&M on the 16th. Again, and we didn't even talk about them. They're bleeding guys. They're bleeding them, right? So there's a lot that James, you were asking about linebacker help. There's defensive help out there. They're out of. I mean, whatever's going on with Jimbo, he fired his offensive coordinator yesterday. I thought that was funny. Attaboy, Jimbo. You're the one calling the plays, bro. Fire you. Let the guy call the plays and then fire him. But who knows? Who knows? But they're bleeding people. I think you're going to see a lot of those guys. They're going to end up all over the SEC. You could see a lot of them end up at Texas. You could see a lot of them end up at Oklahoma. And I really feel like I can't even imagine why Hicks would want to stay. I can't. And if he does stick with the ATMU, then you had 4 5-star defensive linemen that they got last year as part of the greatest recruiting class of all time, ranking wise. Because they're all leaving, I think. Maybe not all of them, but a big portion of them. They're saying as many as 6, 7, 5-star guys definitely gone. I've heard that over and over and over again. So, until it's gone, until it's over with, that's the thing. If you freak out on one thing, you just don't know what's going to happen around the corner. So let's just relax, see what happens. And again, tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern time, right back here at youtube.com/@CFB-podcast. Same place you are right now. Make sure that you, if you have not hit the like button, please hit the like button while you're here. Appreciate that. And if you're not already a subscriber, we're getting close. We need subs. We're doing a lot of content for you guys, bringing you some amazing stuff. You're going to enjoy the show tomorrow. We have some special guests. Again, as I said, we're bringing in Cade and Eric Taylor. These guys are unbelievable. They are getting ready to play for their 3rd consecutive Class 6A championship in Tennessee. We'll talk to them about that and about their recruiting. And these guys, I'm telling you now, they are both unbelievable players. Cade's brother, Deuce, will also be on the show. His line, the guy that plays all over the line, he's a junior. He's being recruited some. He could also use a little boost as well. We want to do that for these guys. Again, make sure that you check out Darian Holmes. I'm actually working on some more stuff with some more San Antonio players that are available. I think you really want to, listen, I think you're going to get Hicks and Bowen for sure, but you could also see Sanford coming as well. Yeah, if Hicks comes, I think it's pretty clear that he does too. Now the difference would be, Weston, if they don't, if I still think that they leave Texas A&M and go to Oregon maybe, but maybe not. The way that they kind of gagged up the end of the season there, I don't know that necessarily helped them either. But from what I understand, if Samples comes, or even Malcolm Kelly with their recruiting ability, both of these guys, and they have a lot of connections in South Texas. Samples was at Texas at one point, and did a really good job there. So I don't know. I feel like there, and this is already a better recruiting staff than you've seen at Oklahoma probably ever. So let's just enjoy it, see what happens. Make sure you're here tomorrow night. There will be, obviously we'll post it everywhere, but make sure it's going to be 9:30 Eastern time. So there in Oklahoma, it is going to be at 8:30 tomorrow night. We will have a special guest, a commit to the Oklahoma Sooners, a recent commit. So we will have him on the show to talk to him a little bit about what made him want to come to Oklahoma. And then also we will be talking to Cade Hewitt along with Eric Taylor and Deuce Hewitt on the show as well, along with Oklahoma Recruiting's Peyton Manning, our insider guy. He'll be on the show as well. So don't forget, we'll see you there. If you haven't hit that subscriber button, please do, and like the videos. We'll see you tomorrow.